So who won last night's debate? First debate between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. Very, very important. Everybody on pins and needles. How is this going to go? It could decide the election because the election right now is so close, pretty much tied. And anything could happen in a debate that involves Donald Trump. Well, as we covered it live for you guys last night on tytnetwork.com/live, you saw that Hillary Clinton had come out a little nervous, and then we thought Donald Trump won the first third of the debate. He was very strong in saying, hey, look, you haven't done anything in the last 30 years. You're the establishment. He beat her up on the trade deals, etc. But then Hillary Clinton turned it on, settled into a groove, and started being very effective in her counterattacks against Donald Trump. She seemed like a grown-up and made policy positions and points while Donald Trump kept spinning his wheels, doing personal attacks. And his defense were such absurd things as, oh, my dad only gave me a small $1 million loan. That did not rate well. And in fact, I'm not the one saying that. Republican pollster Frank Luntz says that. So now that was our opinion, and you saw our analysis of it last night. The question is, yeah, okay, Mr. Pundit, but what did the actual voters think? Because that's the most important thing, and that's what we always tell you guys. So we're here with that information. So CNN ORC did a poll. These are scientific polls. The first two are, and then we'll have fun with the rest. And CNN's poll, devastating for Trump. It is Hillary Clinton in a landslide, winning the first first debate, 62-27. So basically a 2-to-1 margin. She crushed him. So now, they asked, did this make a difference? That was another question that they asked in this poll, because it's one thing if she wins, but everybody was already setting their patterns and who they were going to vote on. It turns out, no, a lot of people were set, of course, but some people still hadn't made up their minds. So 47% said it didn't make a difference who won the debate for them. These are among the people who watched. 34% said they were more apt to vote for Clinton, and 18% said they were more apt to vote for Trump. Now, this debate broke all sorts of ratings records. The initial estimate was 80.9 million people watched, but that does not include, I believe, PBS. It doesn't include C-SPAN. It doesn't include the Young Turks. It doesn't include a lot of online media. So the reality is an enormous amount of people watch this. So when you're talking about a difference of 34 to 18 on people saying it is going to affect my vote and I am more likely to vote for Hillary Clinton over Donald Trump, that could make a giant difference in this election. So the Clinton camp's got to be ecstatic about that. Then Public Policy Polling had a poll in as well. I keep telling you guys, these guys were the most effective and accurate polling in the 2012 election. They actually had it closer. So they had it at 51-40 in favor of Hillary Clinton, but they also had her winning. In a normal situation, you might say an 11-point win is a solid win, but given the CNN numbers, that's certainly closer than how CNN had it. Okay, now those are the scientific polls. Now we go to the non-scientific polls where people go, I don't know, who do you think won? And a lot of people on the internet vote. Look, we did one of those, but we were polling progressives, not in this debate, but we did it, hey, are you never Hillary, or are you at some point going to vote for Hillary? This was right after the primaries ended. But we were cognizant of the fact that we're polling our audience, and we would give that caveat every time. The conservatives, not as much. So Drudge, massively right-wing Drudge, does a poll, and he's like, oh yeah, it turns out the right-wingers who come to my site, and he doesn't talk about it in terms of right-wingers. He just says, yeah, 80% say Donald Trump won. But of course, I'm surprised for Drudge report that it wasn't 98% who said that Donald Trump won. Okay, Fox News also did an unscientific poll on their website, 50-34 Donald Trump. These are the least surprising results you'll ever see. And by the way, that's actually fairly close on Fox News' website. Okay, now, others who are not biased, I mean, you've got mainstream organizations, CNBC, Time, etc. They genuinely did a poll, but it was also online. And so the Trump people went and thought it was super clever to vote in all these polls. So they had Trump winning on CNBC 67% to 33%. Time had Trump winning 55-45. Again, these are all unscientific, all polls online. Fortune also had him winning on their online poll as well. Now, by the way, on Time's poll and CNBC's poll, there was over 1 million people who voted, they claim, okay? So then they point out in Fortune magazine, the Daily Dot reports the supporters of Donald Trump even took to sites like Reddit and 4chan in an attempt to intentionally skew online polling results. To which I say, of course they did. This reminds me of, at one point, Time magazine was trying to decide who was going to be man of the century, I think. And Ataturk, the founding father of Turkey, was one of the candidates. So every Turk in the world went and voted on the poll. And they made it like a national mission. So there's like 70 million votes for Ataturk and like 3 for Churchill, 4 for Gandhi, right? And they're like, what? He won. Oh, it's a poll. It's a poll. No, yeah, we know. You guys all went and voted there. That's absurd. That's not a scientific poll. So they think they're being cute, but I don't really think so. So, and by the way, Nate Silver says, hey, listen, you won't know who won the debate until a couple of days from now. Those polls will be more accurate than the snap polls that CNN did and Public Policy Polling did. Even though those are scientific, their snap polls a little harder to tell. Okay, so that's a fair point, but all the online polls, throw them out. And by the way, do you think the Russians, who can hack into all these different computers, couldn't produce 1 million votes for their favorite candidate on an online poll? And I don't know if it's the Russians, I don't care, because those polls are total horse crap. Okay, so now I've got more evidence though. So now we go to the focus groups. So the focus groups are undecided voters. They're right there in the studio. CNN had one, Fox News, MSNBC, they all had one. So you can see it with your own eyes which way they went. You know which way they went on CNN? 18-2 for Hillary Clinton. Now, Frank Luntz was running the Fox News one, and he kept tweeting throughout, and he's like, this is not good. Trump not doing well. In the beginning, like we thought, actually, the respondents were actually saw Trump as favorable in the beginning third of the debate, just like we did. And then afterwards, it was a total disaster. At one point late in the debate, Luntz tweeted out, so far, 17 people in my group say Hillary's winning, 3 say Trump. Tax question weakened him, birther question destroyed him. Damn, that's a Republican pollster. Now that was a little bit before the debate ended. At the end of the debate, the vote had changed a little bit. Let me give you that. He said, who won tonight's debate? In my focus group, 6 people said Trump and 16 said Clinton. And you can see here exactly, and he then puts out a place where you can actually chip in as well. So bottom line is the Fox News focus group also 16-6 for Hillary Clinton. So every legitimate thing there is out there, and the focus groups are not scientific, it's just 20 people in a room, roughly speaking. Obviously for the Fox News one, it was a little larger than that. But it gives you a better insight than an online poll. And then there's one other thing, the MSNBC, you might be wondering, which way did they go? I'm going to get to that at the end. But there's also the bettors. So the betting markets who are betting on this race. Now you all know, especially if you're a conservative, what do? You're supposed to trust the markets, right? So that the markets move. Now remember, the markets are not judging just on this debate. They have a certain expectation. So the market has already balanced out at a certain place. So if they think the debate went much better for one person, it's going to move up for them. If they think the debate went just as they expected, it's not going to move at all. So how did it go? According to the New York Times, bettors liked what they saw from Mrs. Clinton. The first major shift in the odds occurred within the first half hour, and the odds of a Clinton presidency continued to rise as the debate went on. At no point did the markets move in Donald J. Trump's favor. And finally, they say, all told, Mrs. Clinton's odds of winning the election rose from around 63% in the minutes before the debate started to 69% by the end. So that's a 6-point move in the markets, which actually is fairly significant because those markets don't move that quickly or that because people's money's on the line. This is not like, oh, I kind of think this. You're trying to make money on who's going to win. So that's serious business. So they now have her at 69% chance of winning because they think obviously she did well in the debate. So finally, let's go back to the MSNBC focus group. This one was a Xiao group, a tiny one, only 7 people. Which way did they go? Or at least 7 that voted. Ooh, look at that, Donald Trump won it on MSNBC. 4 for Trump and 3 for Hillary Clinton. But my favorite is the tiebreaker, the focus group participant that voted for Trump that put him over the top. He said, I'm voting for the Conservative Party, and if this jackass just happens to be leading this mule train, so be it. I don't know if anything can sum up the debate better than that quote. But now you have all the results. It appears, based on several different angles that you look at this, that Hillary Clinton did in fact win this debate. If you're upset with mainstream media, we have the alternative for you. Come build independent media with us. Your membership powers the Young Turks. tytnetwork.com/join.